and what are they doing on that show? Because I promise you, when I watched the trailer, I was mind blown. From the cinematography, the suspense. You know what? Don't take my word for it. Here's the trailer.
There's different kinds of justice.
Tell us what happened.
She contacted me. Akisema she had a story to tell that would shock the city.
Is it so unusual for a man to have another woman?
No, it's not.
Nobody, no matter how rich or how powerful you are, no one is above the law. These events have caused undue excitement.
Was his death an accident too?
We are women in the land of men.
Wow, it's interesting because when I was growing up and watching Vioja Makamani, one of the things I think my young brain always used to think is, okay, so these guys are in the courtroom. So how did these crimes actually occur? Like, what actually happened? And then we've watched from the CSIs to all those other shows that we've watched. But there's nothing as amazing and as relatable as watching your very own Kenyans literally taking you through the motions on such an amazing show. Karibuni, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maqbul,
Yo.
did I do you justice? Is it good?
You need to amp it a bit.
Okay. We're going there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Sarah, Hassan, Alfred, and Maqbul, once again, welcome. Let's start off with you, Sarah, as we take on the journey and get into the point that you're on Crime and Justice. Did you ever envision that you'd end up on such a role? From the days of, watching you in high school, watching another high schooler, to this point, is this something you envisioned?
I don't know. I think my vision was always grand, and it's good to have dreams that are bigger than life. So why not? I had hopes. Yes.
Alfred, how did you feel being I don't know if I can use the word on TV, being a kick-ass guy? And say you're that guy. A lot of young people are going to be like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like that hero solving crime. How does it feel?
Well, it feels good, and it's really gratifying for once we get to do something that we really love, and there's so much truth and facts to what we do, so it's nice to mirror what happens every day. So yeah, it's good.
Maqbul, I've known you from theater, radio. You're definitely a force to reckon with, to a recurring role that you have on Crime and Justice. Do you feel like you've come full circle in terms of your art?
To be honest, I think I'm just starting out. I know it sounds crazy after, what, 20 years of being in the industry, but I'm just starting out. It's a different role. It's a different place I am in my life. And the interpretation of everything that Alfred was saying, how factual it is, it just gives us impetus to try something different, and it feels amazing.
And let's get on to episode 1. And for those of you who've not watched, I hope that you make sure you actually watch episode 1. So the death or the murder of this young guy called Abuya, who has an illicit affair with a very powerful politician. In terms of the scripting itself, when we're watching, should we look at stuff that is relatable to us as Kenyans? Are you picking stuff that we've actually seen in the headlines in Kenya and, redoing them to fit the narrative? Or how did this script come about? Like, how do how did this all come about?
It's definitely, some of the stories are ripped straight from the headlines. If you actually watch the show, you'll be like, wait a minute. And some are inspired by true stories that we go through as Kenyans. So it's, when you watch the show, it's very relatable. Some of the emotions that we as the cast have, we as the characters that we're portraying have, can be mirrored, because that's some of the emotions that you are feeling, seeing the story online and stuff like that.
Alfred, is there always justice on the show?
Well, justice is relative, because it depends on who gets it, because the fact is there are a lot of strings attached to every case, and what Silas has managed to know over the years is that there are so many forces around the case that you can't really fight. So it's not really well, to some extent, some cases work, but on the overall, it's a tough climb.
Yeah, just to come back to you, Sarah, like for all the young girls who are going to be watching you, basically, there's a scene where you're so serious. I'm like, this chick. But vile anauliza maswali, I'm like, but nimehang out na udem, mbona ako serious hivi? So there's also a lot of young girls, and it's, I think for me it's very important that one of the heroes is actually a lead, is a female, because for all the young girls who are watching, get to see an image of you and be like, I can be that.
Yeah.
What do you hope every young girl in Kenya and all over the world watching sees when they see you in Crime and Justice?
So my character, McKenna, is very passionate. She's a complex character, but she works hard. She wants to see justice in the world, and she doesn't really necessarily follow authority. She will follow her heart. If she feels this is right, she will follow that, even if it gets her into trouble. And, you know, that's something I would say every single person would hope to have, would hope to be empathetic, would hope to see justice, would hope to even help victims. I would say the world would be a much better place.
Maqbul, for someone who's been in films for a long time, you've also been behind the scenes, do you feel that, you know, was finally getting there in terms of production, in terms of the stories that we're telling?
Yeah, I think we have been coming up for a long time now. I think early 2010, somewhere there, we started picking up really fast. And now where we are capable of attracting, you know, pay TVs from different parts of the world to come into the country and want to do our stories. They say Africa is the last frontier. It is. And in terms of stories as well, we grew up through many stories as young children, where we sat around the fire, we sat around the mat. These are things that we can pick up and share now in a different way with the generation that's coming up. And it's a beautiful time to be an actor. It's an amazing time to be in the entertainment industry.
Wow. Alfred, how do you feel in terms of, from a production perspective, like you feel like finally I'm a star, like it's taken a while. I know obviously as Kenyans, man, you're on set and you're saying, man, is this gonna work out? Are people gonna understand me? Is this gonna make sense? How do you feel in terms of how people are gonna consume the stories and the narratives? Do you feel that your delivery and in terms of how they take the stories, that finally we have stories that people can really relate to?
Well, first of all, I can't really say I'm a star because I'm a working actor. I don't really do this for the celebrity facade.
Yes.
So what I can say is that Crime and Justice does justice to viewership because, one, the crew that is involved in this is just top of the mark in all aspects because the camera work, Akina Sami, we have Smalls as a AD, we have Kama, we have great people that are really doing their best at every aspect of their job. So for us, it's like I said, it's a pressure and a pleasure because you're around the best. From script writing, from the directions, from Mr. Adam Wolf is just phenomenal in directing. Amazing. And we have, like, everybody is at the top of their job. So it's not really easy. And then yet again, it is. So, I mean, we're in the right place. If I can say, I've never been into a more conducive environment to appreciate what God has given me, which is a talent.
When we think about the real life stories that people actually go through and what you're actually acting out, does it somewhat anger you? Like, honestly, like, I'm acting this out, but I wish I could shoot this guy. He doesn't have to go to court. It's like, yeah. Yeah,
well, you have those moments, but the script has to limit you, and then you have to, like, show that side of the story because every side has two coins. Every coin has two sides, sorry. So you have to show the negative and the positive. So I'm honored to have that part to do because everyone else is doing their part, so it's magic.
What about your character, Sarah, makes you the happiest and also pisses you off the most?
She's very invested. She's very invested in every single
Always invested
case.
in everything.
Always.
Every single case.
This guy is supposed to be your sidekick and
I am, but you know.
She's in the feelings, yeah?
You know, we're having a group project and then there's that one person who's consistently...
Yeah, the one who was the teacher. Teacher, before you leave.
You know,
this is her character.
Yeah, we don't have homework.
That's her.
Yeah. And what pisses you off? Is that, or that's what makes you happy and sad at the same time?
No, it doesn't make me sad. I love it. I love the fact that she's invested a lot. I love McKenna. I don't think there's a side of her that I don't love.
Serious?
Yeah.
I love McKenna and
Yeah.
Okay.
the character.
I was like, hey, you're one who's invested. Really invested in this story. What is one of the, because obviously we haven't watched every episode, probably a scene or something that you think we should look out for, where we're going to watch and someone's going to be like, oh, see cousin yangu. Maybe your cousin is like, aye, or your mom is like, no, that can't be my daughter. Why did she slap? What is that one scene that we should really look out for?
I think it's very hard, I would say, to point out, because in every episode, I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to say this, but in every episode we have cameo appearances by big, amazing stars. Top-notch people who come and lift the story and take it to another place, and we just appreciate every other episode. So you can have episode 1. If you haven't watched episode 1, please do. Please do. Watch, first of all, these guys who kill it every single episode. And then John Sibioku, I mean...
Bruh.
A lot of people like to call themselves the voice. But I always see John Sibi as the voice.
JSO is next to Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how big he is.
That one's going to trend. You wait. You wait for that.
The director told him that he's Denzel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
How's it working with the crew for you guys? Because I think a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes, and there's reasons for that, because then it's like a trade secret. If we're going to show everyone how we're doing the stunts, how we are putting the makeup, then, well, what's the point of the whole show? But for you guys, in terms of your crew and who you're working with, especially for the local crew, I'd like to know your experience with them. Like, how was it shooting, knowing that these guys are also getting a lot of, you know, expertise while working with you guys?
Just like Alfred said, the crew is top-notch. From our line producer, Maureen, to our casting, Lorella, to Sammy, who's a DOP, to Walter, who's a 2-time award-winning lighting technician.
It's kind of international.
Like, the people who are there at the top of their game. So
you have Karen now, who's
directing this episode.
And he's phenomenal. And I mean, everybody who's involved in this was called in because of merit. It's not because of who are you, it's all merit. So to see everybody who's top at their game at what they do in the same set, you don't have a choice. You just have to bring your A game.
Do you guys feel any pressure to, no, I can't take a role that doesn't have the kind of production that I've just done, like Crime and Justice? Is there that pressure? Like, Andrew will be there calling you, Maqbul, we are friends. Kukonai project.
Zero budget.
Please, see no budget, Alfred, but you just come. Do you feel that, no, do I really want to go back there?
Yeah, well, there's this day that Maqbul joined us on set, and he was like, mbona mna pressure?
Yeah.
Ingekuwa pele smoku, as it would be like scene 4. And we're just doing breakfast and taking a brief from the director, just doing our wardrobe slowly. And but with time, you understand why they take time, because the keenness that every department takes with their job. Like, I get there, wardrobe akina Jemoa, like, come. You know, we have to take time for every single step so that the end product becomes magical. We have a guy called Nyakabete who's doing continuity. If your hair grows like a million, it's gotta go, you know. So like you see the heart that everybody is putting into all this. Then you're like, I can't let all these guys down. Even to the actors, these guys are just phenomenal. They come early, they have their lines with them, so you're like, seen our lines. You know, you have to bring it. If you don't, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find you out and you'll walk. Sorry.
Also, he's gonna ask us a couple of questions from social media there. Sarah, what next? What next for you? You've done Crime and Justice. We've seen you Plan B, all the stuff that we've seen you in. What do you feel is next for you?
One step at a time. Utaona.
Tusirash.
Usirash maze.
Najua lazima pia tuongele story ya TikTok. When you unamaza TikTok, and so we're gonna finish your interview with a TikTok dance. But also, because I mean, it's a Crime and Justice Firirinda version.
We have guns, bro.
You have guns. Acha kwambie mtu anasema kona ndenga ananga ataibu kishtua. So anyway, Osoro, tell us, what are the streets saying?
Yamono Anthony
these are not the streets, Anthony. That is respect. I mean,
wow.
Crime and Justice ni movie kubwa, huwezi sema the streets. I mean, Hollywood wanasema nini? Reaction yao ni gani? Tuko na huyu Chako Babere anasema Crime and Justice, it's hot, full of record theme that cut across issues that that in our urban and rural settings, Sarah, Fred and Maqbul as characters behind wameiva. Iyo kizungu chirekebishie, autocorrect mchisaidie nayo. Mbuja mono, tukienda kwa huyu anasema niache Anto Soro na TJE. That movie looks like a super one. I'm definitely getting it. I think ni vizuri wao watuambie iko wapi, ndio mtu asiende kwa mtu wa movie kuchomesa na asiko huko. Anthony, kwako kidogo ndio nirutishie tena.
So yeah, obviously they want to know where they can catch you guys, where they can watch it.
So this is the first Kenyan Showmax original.
Yep.
It can be
Yep.
it's every single Monday on Showmax.
On Showmax.
And right now Showmax is actually having an offer. So don't sleep on it. Pay for 1 month, get two free.
Get two free. So hii ya mwisho ni kitu personal. Because a lot of times when, and I think for someone who's acted before, is we always forget the people who really hold us. So there's a show, it's out there, you've done your part and everything, but there's also your family who are always constantly, if you're being picked at home, they're the ones who have to probably help you wake up sometimes, make sure you're ready by 4 or 5 a.m. You know, in terms of your journey on this show, what role has your family played in? And you have to, you know, tell them, manze, big up. Uko kwa TV wanakuwa. Kwanza Alfred, umepigwa na watu wengi sana. Manze, nimekwambia niko on saa hizi. Buda si nimekwambia muweke tu niko on. So what role has your family played and what message do you have for your family?
I'd say that I've had a very prayerful mother who wakes up every day at 2 a.m. and pray for me for like 2 hours to just, you know, cover me and, you know. So I'm very grateful to her. She's actually at the Machakos Prayer Center right now. She's still praying for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I am really appreciative of her efforts. I have people in my life who really go all out for me and, you know, love me and care for me. And I also have friends who, you know, push me from... I have friends who've been with me since the times I was doing theater. I used to do set books, Kitambo. And the same friends I had, I still have today. Like I have Akina Sash, Akina Chandler, Akina Gidi, who hold me down and ground me and show me, yo, bado ni mse.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't, you're still a man, you know.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes me, you know, feel that I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for God and mankind.
Yeah, and for all those young boys who are like, I'm gonna be like Alfred one day. What about you, Sarah?
And I'm also grateful to Showmax.
Yeah.
For this.
Na joku ndio check inakuja.
Sio mama na check bro.
Yeah.
Acha nikwambie. Hakuna siku nishaenda sijijipata kwa set ya series yenye naweza ulizwa utakula nini.
Yeah. Unaambia ngo ndio hiyo ninio?
Twende kaende sawa. Haya, okay.
Na
after Crime and Justice na bado ni get job.
Mayai boro na toast.
Pia saa ingine ikuagi.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I'm grateful and it's an experience and I don't take it for granted. And si ati hapo ndipo penye. I hope that I'll get higher, but I will not refuse good stories.
And to work.
I believe in stories and I believe in using God's talent to show the world that God exists.
Sarah, what about you? Tunaonanga video zako pale manze mse nini Valentines. Yuko amsha nakwambia babe unakujiwa. Yo babe, I know you're tired but you gotta go through your script like how is
My family's been there from when I started. And so my family and friends, it's a tight-knit circle and I like to keep it that way because those are people who keep me grounded.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate them every single day and they know that.
Maqbul. Wewe ni mtu wa watu na niko sure hadi maneiba. Maqbul enda job.
I've been lucky enough, as these guys are saying, to have people around me who support the culture, support the industry, people who understand what it takes to put in every single day, because it's unlike any other industry, right? It's not like you wake up 9 to 5 and put in work. This is every single time you have to work. 2 seconds from now, you're going to be on the phone, you're going to be on Twitter, you're pushing your agenda. That's how entertainers work in this country, because if you're out of mind, that's about it. And we are so thankful to have, like Alfred said, Showmax, and of course, all these other things that are coming into the country and empowering us as an industry to be able to tell these stories. As artists, I believe it's something very ironical. We talk about artists are the mirror of the society. We are. This gives us the ability to tell those particular stories. These stories are stories from, like you said, things that you've seen on the papers, things that we talk about when we sit down in kamkunjis like we do, things that we say, no, justice has to be served. And we are thankful enough that someone believed in that story to let us express it, and of course, to our fellow Kenyans to educate them.
Cool. Thank you guys one more time for coming. I know we'd sit here and talk the whole night. But then, you know, it would be a crime if we don't go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we've got more entertainment justice to be served. Keep it locked.